Hello everybody. Today I am bringing you swatches of the new OPI Infinite Shine Wicked collection for winter of 2024. This is a 9-piece Infinite Shine collection, which is their special finish. These all come in these really fancy Wicked stamped lids that are shiny just like all the other OPI Infinite Shine polishes do. And these are separate from the regular OPI 12-piece Wicked collection that I already have a review up on my channel of, so if you're interested in those, please check that out. As I stated, these are already available. This collection released on October 1st, so I'm a little tiny bit late getting this out, but I still wanted to bring you the swatches anyway because I think these are beautiful and it's a beautiful collection and definitely worth checking out. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the swatches. This first shade that I'm going to do, I think I'm going to swatch them in order of finish. So the first shades that I'm going to swatch are going to be the two cream finish polishes that do not have anything extra in them. The first polish here is this beautiful pink. This is called Ever Effervescent, and it is a beautiful, almost like bubblegum primary colored pink. Very pretty. I believe it's supposed to be reminiscent of Glinda. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch that one. I'm going to be using a base coat under all my swatches today. Today I'm going to be using the Orly Bonder base coat. I find this is very easy to swatch with. Goes on super easy. And I just like using it under all of my regular manicures that I do for myself as well. So it dries pretty quickly. I don't have to wait too long in between swatches. I'll zoom in a little bit. I have not swatched any of these polishes yet, so this is going to be my true live first reaction to how I feel about these. Very beautiful. Pretty easy, smooth formula. Goes on really, really nicely. Levels pretty quickly also. This nail I have a lot of ridges in and usually shows pretty well the ridges, but this one covered those ridges pretty well even on that first coat. I also tend to do ridiculously thin coats when I'm swatching because I'm worried about flooding my cuticles, but this one I don't seem to be having any issues with it being too super thin like I normally do. Beautiful polish. Here's my second coat. It seems to dry a slight bit darker than it applies. Not a lot, but definitely enough that I notice that it's not quite as vibrant after it dries as it was when it was wet. Definitely a two-coater. I don't have any nail line after that second coat. Normally I do have nail line on most polishes after two coats because I have a very vividly stark white nail line. This one I think would be a two-coater on pretty much everybody. That was Ever Effervescent. This next polish that I'm going to swatch is a beautiful primary red. This is called Thrillifying. Absolutely beautiful red. I'm not normally a red polish lover. I'm not somebody that wears red on my nails very often. If I were going to wear a red, I could definitely see it being one that's bright like this one. There's the first coat. Again, very smooth, easy formula. Definitely a little sheer on that first coat, so I'm Gonna need more than one. This looks a little bit jellyish. Not quite a jelly though, definitely more like a crelly. Has more of a creaminess to it than I would say most normal crellies do. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this nail, but for some reason I'm having a hard time getting into the side of that nail. And of course I flooded my cuticle. Very pretty red. So I do still have a slight bit of nail line after that second coat. I don't know that it's enough that I feel like a third coat is warranted. Mostly I think it's because I'm under these very bright lights doing this swatching, and I also again have very stark white nail line, so if you have shorter nails than I do, or if you don't have such stark white nail lines, I think you should be okay with this one in 2. I think it'll be fine for most people in 2. But that is 2 coats of Thrillifying. Beautiful red. Okay, next up I'm going to show the shimmers in this collection. There are several shimmers in this collection, and all of them are equally as beautiful and unique in my opinion. The first shimmer that I'm going to show you is this one. It's this beautiful purple with this gold shimmer that runs throughout the polish. And the name of this one is Head Shistress. Absolutely beautiful. Here's the first coat. This one is a little bit more on the thin side than the other ones we've swatched, but not a lot. Just enough where I notice that my super thin coats are actually applying super thinly, whereas the other ones kind of made up for how thin I was doing my coats. This one is definitely applying very thinly, so you might want to have a little tiny bit more on your brush. Not a bad polish by any stretch. That shimmer stands out really, really nicely on the nail. Definitely one that you can see. Really pretty color. It's like a darker purple with a very stark gold shimmer. There's a second coat. Polish is a solid 2-coater. Cannot see any reason why anybody would need more than 2 coats on this one. Covers completely the nail line, and it is the color that it should be according to the color that's in the bottle. This is probably one of my favorites from the collection. This is a very pretty shimmer. Once again, that is Head Shistress. This next polish is a beautiful pink that I am considering possibly getting a backup of because I think it's going to be a very popular color for OPI. This is a light, almost beigey pink with this beautiful, it looks like pink and purple shimmer throughout it, but it's a very fine particle shimmer. And the name of this one is The Ga is Silent. I don't know anything about Wicked, so I'm sure there's a reference to that somewhere in the play, but I am not familiar with it. But this one is a very pretty color. This one has a much more noticeably thin formula. A little tiny bit on the runny side, but not so much that it's difficult. This is definitely way more milky than the last couple of polishes that we've looked at. I think we will be able to build this one up to opacity, but I'm not 100% sure. That shimmer does stand out pretty nicely even through that slightly darker base. Here's the second coat. I still have some streaks after that second coat. Some of those are my fault because I do have some ridges on my nails, and some of them are not. Some of them are definitely the polish. A lot of them do seem to level out very nicely. I do still have a few, even after it finishes leveling itself out. I am going to do a third coat of this, but now looking at it after the second coat, I don't believe I'm going to be able to get this fully opaque on my nails. So if you don't like nail line, you may want to do a blurring base coat under this one. It did hide the nail line a little better than I thought it was going to on that third coat, but I still do see a little bit of it on my nails. Not enough that it would bother me, and I usually do not like to see visible nail line when I have nail polish on my nails. So I think you'd really have to hate visible nail line in order for this to bother you. I think it's worth it for the color. I do think that after that third coat, the shimmer is covered a little bit more. It doesn't stand out as much as it did on the first two coats, but I think it is an absolutely beautiful polish. And I can definitely see myself wearing this. Once again, that was this beautiful shimmer called The Ga is Silent. Next polish that we're going to look at, I believe, is going to be a topper. I can't tell in the bottle yet. I'll have to wait until I swatch it. But it's a really pretty, almost looks like a clear base or a very, very, very light base with a similar shimmer to what was in The Ga is Silent. It has a bright pink shimmer, but the second shimmer, rather than being the purple like it was in that polish, looks like it might be a green. Very light green, possibly. It's really, really hard for me to tell. This polish is called Don't Hide Your Magic. Here's the first coat. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a topper. Very, very pretty color. You could also wear this on its own if you just like having a little bit of glitter on your nails. It is a very pretty glitter, and it applies very evenly. I don't see any streakiness to that glitter. It lays down very nicely. So I could definitely see wearing this on its own if you're somebody who likes just having a very light wash of something on your nails. Here's the second coat. I think I am going to try to build this up in 3 just to see what it looks like if you build it up on the nail. I don't think that it's necessary to wear it in 3. But the glitter does build up very nicely, so I do think that the base is clear. Once I'm putting this on here, I don't really see any color to that base. So I do think it is a clear base. Glitter stands out very, very nicely. Hopefully you can see that there. You can already see all the little sparkles I have all over my fingers from the last few polishes that we've swatched that have glitter in them. So I'm sure after this one, I will be thoroughly sparkled up. Here's what 3 coats of Don't Hide Your Magic looks like. I don't notice a major difference, so I think pretty much 2 coats is what you're gonna get for full glitter payoff. This 3rd coat doesn't really seem to do a whole lot as far as changing the look of it. In some angles, it definitely looks shiny enough that it sort of camouflages the nail line a little bit because there's so much glitter going on in here. It definitely doesn't hide the nail line at all. You can see it in certain angles, in most angles, but I do think that it's pretty enough to wear on its own. I definitely think I could see myself wearing this on its own, even though I do not like visible nail line. I think with this one, it looks like it's meant to be that way, and I can see myself reaching for this when I just want something light on my nails. Very pretty. I think I would probably reach for this more in the spring. I do like wearing polishes seasonally, so I think this would be a very pretty spring, almost like a floral spring color. Okay guys, so this next polish is this beautiful yellow. It's more of, I don't really know how to describe this. It's definitely a shimmer, but there is no glitter in it whatsoever. It's just like almost like a subtle metallic, if that makes sense. Shake it up a little bit. The name of this one is Yellow Brick Road. I wanted to show you this one next to the one from the regular OPI line because they did come out with 2 that look very similar to each other. But the one in the regular OPI line, which is called Love You So Munchkin, this one has a glitter in it. So in case you haven't seen the other, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It has a shimmer in it that you can actually see. Bigger shimmer particles in it. Almost gives it a little tiny bit of a glow or a sparkle. Hopefully you can see the difference between those 2. It almost looks like they took this base color and just added a tiny little bit of sparkle to it. So this is Love You So Munchkin in the regular line, which I do have a swatch of. And this one is the one that we're going to be looking at right now, which again is called Yellow Brick Road. This one. This first color and my first reaction, I gotta say, it definitely looks like just stained nails. I know with yellows it's kind of hard, and I was worried that the other one in the regular line, the Love You So Munchkin, would look that way. But luckily, because of the sparkle that's in that one, it definitely doesn't. It looks like an actual polish, not stained nails. This one, because it does not have that bigger shimmer in it, this one, I have to say, just kind of makes me look like my nails are stained. At different angles, you can see the shimmer a little bit better. There's just a little bit of a glow, but I still think because of how much nail line you can see, and because of, sorry about that, and because of the actual base color, it definitely to me still just looks like stained nails. Here's the second coat. Yeah. Yellow is my absolute favorite color. Not necessarily to wear on my nails for this exact reason, but I have to say this is not one of my favorites, and I truly can't see using this as a nail polish to wear on its own for myself. I definitely will not be wearing this as a standalone polish. I might use it for nail art or as a base for some type of nail art. This is not something that I would ever wear on its own just by itself. There's still a lot of visible nail line even after that second coat. I will say that after the second coat, it doesn't quite look as much like stained nails, but still not really a polish that I can see myself wearing. I will do a third coat just to see if it helps cover up any of that nail line a little bit more. I don't think this polish is going to be opaque on its own no matter how many coats you do. I still do have quite a bit of visible nail line. That does cover better than I thought it was going to, but on my nails at least, it does not completely cover that nail line. So there is 3 coats of Love You So Munchkin. Kind of makes me sad, especially because I feel like this is a wasted opportunity. I feel like the polish that they used for Love You So Munchkin, in my opinion, should have been named Yellow Brick Road, because that one has the sparkle of what I think of when I think of the Yellow Brick Road. This one, I don't know, I kind of feel like is a little bit of a letdown for me personally, but if you like yellow polishes, you very well may like this one. It's not a bad polish. The brush strokes do tend to calm down a little bit once it dries a little bit, and it has more of just a sheen to it. Just not my cup of tea. Be completely wrong, but just looking at them in the bottle, I feel like they are some of the most interesting. This one is a gunmetal gray color, has this really beautiful sheen to it, and the name of this one is It's the Shiz. Again, probably a reference I'm not getting. Absolutely beautiful polish. I don't know if I've ever worn a gunmetal gray on my hands before, but we're gonna see what it looks like. Very nice, smooth formula. Little on the thinner side compared to the other ones, but not at all runny. Definitely wants to stay where I put it. Not running down the sides of my nails or anything. Covers really, really well too. And I expected it to cover a little bit better than the other ones just because of the darker base color on this one. Has some brush strokes through there, but nothing that is too bad. Just try to do your strokes pretty straight and you should be okay. They definitely seem to dry down a little bit once the polish starts to dry. Not super brush strokey by any means, but there are some still there, so you definitely want to be careful if you don't like brush strokes. Yep, it definitely covers in 2 coats. Have no visible nail line. I absolutely love this color. Not necessarily something that I would have expected out of a Wicked collection, but that's possibly because I don't know much about the play. I'm just kind of going by the Wizard of Oz, which I know is probably very different. But still a beautiful polish, and one that I am glad that they included in this collection, because I think it's one that I will definitely get some use out of. It's very pretty. This next polish also has what I would consider a counterpart in the main collection. Definitely not two of the same polishes, but this one is this beautiful dark vampy green color with what looks like some sort of a contrasting shimmer in there. I can't tell if it's a gold shimmer or if it's just a slightly lighter green shimmer. This is one of the most beautiful polishes in this whole collection, in my opinion. I think it is absolutely stunning. And this one is called Osmopolitan. I love that name. The collection that came out for the main line has this polish, which is called Positively Elphaba. That's the name of that one. And you can see that they are very similar. Try to get these. This is the regular line. This is the Infinite Shine line. They're similar, but I can definitely justify having both. See, this one has this yellow shimmer or gold shimmer in it. This one looks like it just has a slightly different green colored shimmer to it. So they're definitely not dupes by any stretch. And in my brain, I can justify having both because I absolutely think both of them are stunning in their own way. And they're not the same. I have not swatched this one yet. I cannot wait to get this on my nails because it is beautiful. There's the first coat. As vampy as I was hoping it would be. Definitely beautiful polish, beautiful formula. Not too thick or too thin. Staying right where I put it. It's not trying to pool. That is stunning. Now that I have it on my nails, I can see that it is definitely a green shimmer. So it looks like a greener base, like a vampy green base, with a beautiful contrasting lighter green shimmer to it. Very different look than the one that's in the mainstream line. I was expecting them to be a lot more similar on the nail, but they are not. There's the second coat. If you like green polishes, get this one. This is a limited edition collection and it probably won't be around for very long. Telling you, this is definitely a must-have in my opinion from this collection. Probably my favorite. Beautiful, beautiful green. This is very glowy. I felt like this polish from the regular line, this Positively Elphaba, reminded me way more of the Wicked Witch of the West, or Elphaba in Wicked. That's what this one made me think of, which made sense because of the name. This Osmopolitan polish in this Infinite Shine collection reminds me of the look of the Emerald City. When you're looking at it from a distance, it definitely reminds me of the glowiness from the Emerald City. In the Wizard of Oz movie, when you see it in the distance, it just has that beautiful green glow to it. I love this polish, and I think everybody needs it if they like green polish. If you don't, then you're probably really not going to like this one, but definitely beautiful. And the next polish that I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to show this one. This is this polish. It is called OPI Phosphorescent, and it is a glow-in-the-dark polish. I have seen a couple of other people who have swatched this, and they have said that the glow does not last very long. I have not worn this for any length of time, so I cannot speak to how long the glow lasts. I will go ahead and try to put it over this polish and see if I turn the lights off, if we can see how glowy it is. Can't make any promises. Like I said, I'm not the best at picking up these kinds of things, but I will do my best to see if I can show it. It has been sitting under my lights this entire time, so it should be good and charged. There are some little green, I don't really know what to call them. They almost look like little green specks or little green beads. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. It doesn't look like it's picking up on camera very much. Maybe you can see it on the wand a little bit. They're little green, almost like little bubbles. Unfortunately, it does appear that those do change the color of the polish that you're putting it over slightly. Putting it over this Osmopolitan because I thought green over green would look really nice if it was glowing in the dark, but it definitely changes the base color slightly. It lightens it a little bit, makes it a little bit more a lighter green. Isn't too bad. But if you're putting it over a light color like a white, please know that this is definitely going to change the color of that polish. It's not going to look white with this over top of it. I'm going to turn off my lights and see if I can show the glowiness of this. I'm not seeing anything. There's a possibility that maybe I just didn't have it charged up enough. I mean, it has been sitting under my studio lights for quite a while. I would have thought it would have been charged up by now, and I have seen other swatchers be able to get it to glow. So it's a possibility that it's just a problem with my swatching. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show this as a glow in the dark. If I can get some footage of it later in darker settings, then I will definitely try to do that, and if I can, I'll insert it in the video. But there you go, guys. That's all 9 polishes from the OPI Wicked Infinite Shine line. If you have any questions about any kind of dupes or any polishes this may be close to, please let me know in the comments. I may have the polish that you're wondering about, and I may be able to do a comparison in a short or something like that, or even on Instagram. So if you'd like to know if any of these are close to something that you might already have, please let me know and I can see if I can do that for you. Please subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.